Ever wonder why your dealership keeps pushing expensive tune-ups, fluids, and service plans? Today, we're diving into 10 game-changing maintenance tips that shops hope you never learn. With a few basic tools, some insider know-how, and a willingness to get your hands a little dirty, you'll save a ton of cash while ensuring your bike runs like a dream. Ready to take control of your own ride? Let's get rolling. Number 10. Inspect your wheel bearings regularly. Wheel bearings often exist in the shadows, until failure strikes, causing wobbles, brake rotor damage, or worse. A quick inspection once a month or so can spare you pricey repairs and potential catastrophe. Just lift your bike using a paddock or center stand, then spin each wheel by hand and listen for any grinding or clunking. Next, grab the tire at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions. Gently rock it side to side, feeling for looseness. If you detect any movement or audible clicking, it's time to replace the bearings. A typical set of wheel bearings might run you around 20 to 40 bucks, far cheaper than letting them degrade until they seize. Remember, bearings in good shape should spin smoothly and silently with zero side play. Catching damage early keeps your wheels straight, your ride safe, and your wallet fuller. Number 9. DIY your coolant flush. You'd think flushing coolant was rocket science, based on what some shops charge. In reality, it's among the most straightforward tasks you can handle. Every couple of years, check your manual for exact intervals, drain the radiator either via its dedicated drain bolt or by pulling the lower hose, then flush the system with distilled water to remove debris or old fluid. Once clean, refill with a high-quality motorcycle spec coolant, never plain water or automotive antifreeze that might harm certain seals. Run the engine for a minute to burp out any air bubbles, top off the radiator, and replace the cap. This typically takes under an hour, saving you a hefty labor charge. Your bike will run efficiently, and you'll keep more green in your wallet. Number 8. A dab of Antiseize Compound goes a long way. Picture this: you snap off a rusted exhaust header stud or an axle nut fuses itself in place. That's a time-consuming, expensive fix. The simple prevention? A thin smear of Antiseize Compound on fasteners exposed to moisture, heat, or both. This includes spark plugs, axle nuts, exhaust bolts, and brake caliper pins. Antiseize is formulated to reduce metal-on-metal friction and block oxidation, meaning bolts won't weld themselves into your bike's threads. A $10 tube can last you years, and that dime-sized dab will save you from busted knuckles or paying a shop to drill out seized hardware. Proper usage also ensures your future self can remove bolts without a torch or specialized tools. The next time you reassemble your bike, think a step ahead and reach for that anti-seize. Number 7. Don't over-tighten your oil drain plug. An oil change is standard routine maintenance until someone hammers that drain bolt so tight it strips the thread or cracks the pan. That's a surefire way to turn a $40 DUI oil swap into a $400 repair. The key is using a torque wrench and adhering to the specs in your manual, commonly between 20 and 30 Nm depending on the bike. Hand thread the bolt to avoid cross-threading, then snug it precisely rather than gorilla tight. Swap in a new crush washer if recommended. Too loose and you risk a leak. Too tight and you can cause serious damage. Keeping your drain plug correctly torqued means simple, drama-free oil changes every time, and no hidden surprises for your next ride. Number 6. Most fork leaks are just clogged seals. Fork rebuilds can cost hundreds, and many riders have been told they need this service at the first sight of fluid on the fork tube. Yet up to 90% of the time, leaks are just debris lodged under the seal lip. With a plastic feeler gauge or a simple seal mate tool, gently slip it under the seal and run it around the fork tube. This dislodges dirt so the seal can close properly again. You'd be amazed how often this 5-minute fix solves the problem instantly. If the fork keeps leaking afterwards, then you may need new seals, but never agree to an expensive teardown until you've tried cleaning. Think of it as clearing a small pebble from your shoe. It's a simple solution that can save you a massive bill. Number 5. You don't need expensive tools to clean your chain. Maintaining your chain is one of the most critical steps for a healthy drivetrain. A neglected chain grinds itself and your sprockets into oblivion. Yet you don't need fancy brushes or overpriced tools. A relatively inexpensive brush and a little bit of kerosene or chain cleaner does the trick. Scrub away grit and mud, rinse, then follow up with the right lubricant. If you want to be extra thorough, a good microfiber cloth won't burn too much of a hole in your wallet, but will pick up some of that leftover grease or grime that a regular cloth might not. Perform a deep clean every few hundred miles or whenever your chain gets gunked up. A well-maintained chain can last 20,000 miles or more, which drastically reduces your parts bill over the bike's lifetime. Given that a new chain and sprocket can run anywhere from $150 to $300, protecting your current setup is a no-brainer. As simple as it sounds, a humble toothbrush might just be your biggest money saver. Number 4. Forgo specialty motorcycle cleaners. Walking through a dealership, you'll see shelves lined with motorcycle-only cleaners, polishes, and waxes in eye-catching packaging. Many of these are just standard household or automotive products rebranded for a premium price tag. A generic Carnauba-based wax will protect your tank just as well as something labeled Supermoto polish. Same thing goes for window cleaner on windscreens and basic degreaser for engine grime. Your motorcycle doesn't know or care about fancy label claims. The chemistry is what matters, so why pay double for a special bike spray when an equivalent household product will get the job done? As long as you avoid harsh solvents that can damage paint or plastic, you can keep your bike sparkling clean without lining market executives' pockets. A little common sense and label reading goes a long way. Number 3. Bust the 2-year battery myth. Plenty of riders believe you must replace a motorcycle battery every 2 years. In truth, a quality battery can last 5 years or longer if properly cared for. The biggest enemy of battery health? Letting it sit unused until it discharges, especially during cold snaps. Once voltage drops too far, it may never fully recover. A straightforward solution is to connect your bike to a battery tender when parked for more than a couple of weeks. These devices apply a low, steady current that maintains optimal charge. If you don't have a tender, at least start the engine and go for a short spin every few weeks. Consistent charge cycles keep those lead-acid cells happy. Over the long haul, a bit of preventive charging beats paying $100 or more for a brand new battery every season. Number 2. Don't buy annual brake fluid flushes. Yes, brake fluid does absorb moisture, which can eventually degrade your braking performance. But unless you're racing or live in extreme humidity, flushing your brake system every single year is probably unnecessary. Instead, check the fluid in your reservoir. If it's clear or pale amber, it's fine. If it's dark brown, murky, or speckled with debris, then it's time for a change. High-grade DOT4 or DOT 5.1 fluid resists moisture absorption better, so a flush interval of every 2 or 3 years is sufficient for most street riders. Avoid letting a shop upsell you on an annual flush you don't need. Use your own eyes and a little common sense. If your lever feels firm and your fluid looks clean, you're good to go. Number 1. Skip the overpriced chain lubes. Chain lube might be the biggest racket in the service aisle. Shops love to sell you aerosol cans labeled specifically for motorcycles, often at double or triple the cost of standard gear oil. Truth is, any high-quality synthetic motor oil or lightweight gear oil like 75W90 provides superb lubrication, clings to the chain, and repels moisture just as well. The key is regular application, not a fancy formula. Lube every 300 to 500 miles or sooner if you've ridden in the rain. Avoid using WD-40 as your main lubricant. It's a decent cleaner, but not a good protectant. If you do use WD-40 to remove grime, follow immediately with a proper oil-based chain lube. By ditching overpriced brands and focusing on consistency, you'll extend chain life and protect your wallet. Those are the 10 maintenance tips that dealerships would prefer you never discover. Armed with those insights, you'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars each year. You'll also gain the peace of mind that comes from doing it right, on your own terms. Jokes aside, a little DIY approach goes a long way in keeping your machine running strong. If you found these tips helpful, hit that subscribe button for more honest, no-nonsense motorcycle advice. Ride safe, ride smart, and enjoy the open road without the dealership drama. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.